Let's get it happening. Let's make some noise. Let's get it out there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome on in to another episode of SideNote here on Kick. This is it just feels right, mate, doesn't it? Kick just
It does.
I don't know,
It
just
does.
something about the transition to a platform, a streaming platform actually feels right.
Yeah. It feels better than my
But
place right
that's
now.
I
It's
don't know what
cold
you're talking
here.
about, mate. Look, beautiful and warm up here.
Uh,
Um, anyway, moving on. Um, the intro we just come through with feels good to be on a shooting platform. Kind of leads us into today's topic. Um, been watching a lot of, uh, I don't want to say uh, negative stuff in the social media world at the moment, but I've noticed a lot of negative mentality. Now we did cover last show about mentality and
hmm.
whatnot, but it seems to have evolved into a new like it's a new direction now. It's understanding the direction that people are trying to take, and um, look, the I don't want to use the word stupid, but I can't see any other word to use other than that. The, the inability, I guess, to understand that what we do as content creators is not an overnight success. You cannot go to a platform, be it a brand new platform, aka a Kick or even a Glimmers for that matter, or a pre-existing platform akin to a Twitch or those bigger places like even Mixer for example. You couldn't just go there and just instantly gain success. I'm seeing a lot of people, and I know you, Speed, have seen a few as well, of like, I'm planning on streaming these games, but I don't see me growing on Kick with these games, so I'm going to go back to Twitch.
Yeah.
The,
Uh,
the problem with that is they left Twitch for a reason. Now, what is it that you can't grow on Kick by playing certain like where like, how is that even a thought process going through someone's mind? Is I'm going to play the latest Forza, but I'm not going to be able to grow that on Kick, so I'm just go back over there. Like for the life of
yeah.
me, I cannot figure this shit out.
It's incredibly confusing. Because, like, for us, obviously, we don't understand. You know, we look at a platform, we think of pros and cons.
Mhm.
Do the pros outweigh the cons? Is it a viable option? We look at all that sort of stuff. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, there is such a large majority of people, and I don't even know what it is that they're looking for, but in their eyes, they're not getting it. You know,
I think
when they do go
we've seen.
from Twitch, say, right, and they go to a different platform, and then they're like, oh, that platform just wasn't working for me. I'll go to this platform. Oh, that platform wasn't
Hmm.
working for me either. I'm going back to Twitch. It's like, what are you looking for?
I think what they're looking for, and we've spoken about this um, sort of between shows, and we've spoken about it on the back veranda, having a coffee and all that kind of stuff. We've spoken about this exact thing, and you can damn well put your finger on it, right? There there's seemed to be a lot on social media around Kick and this instant growth. Like, oh, look at me, I've made 5,000 followers. Oh, look at me, I've gotten 1,000 subs. What they're lacking is the context behind that. So the people who are putting that out are, again, they're putting it out in such a way to demoralize the the rest of the content creation circle.
Mm,
I mean, there is no other way around it, right? Because, for example, let's take into consideration here, like, okay, you're new to Kick, you haven't really been around all that kind of long with Kick, and all of a sudden, someone like you sees that, that person's made 150 follows overnight. Like, that's fucking crazy growth. I'm going to be affiliated in 5 minutes. All I could do is a 5 hour stream. I'm done. We're there. I'm making money, and because they're making 1,000 subs, there must be hundreds of thousands of people out there, right? Now we can look at all the stats in the world. We can look at the 58 million clicks that they got last month, and all that kind of crap. We can look at the amount of counts that have been made, all that kind of jazz, right? What fails to contribute to that is the context of what that person has done. Now,
Yeah.
they're not telling you how long they've been on the platform. They're not telling you their previous platform. They might have, for example, I know one of the creators I've actually followed on Twitter and watched sort of their transition as well. They were on Twitch and they made it very clear they're coming to Kick. And he basically outlined, he said, look here, I've got 15,000 there and I've got 4,000 here. So out of his 15,000, 4,000 followed across. Now, look, that's great because that provides context to the situation. When you've got these randoms that just blow up on Twitter all of a sudden and go, oh, look at me, it puts the wrong image out.
It does. Now, I think it falls into two categories here. So you've got the people who unintentionally do it, who don't really know how to communicate properly, whatever it
Market
is that
or,
they're doing.
yeah.
And the other side is it's classic advertising. You know,
Mm-hmm.
trick people into buying a product. Essentially,
Yeah.
that's what it is. And you see like the bigger names on these platforms who have these big success stories, like
Mm.
they don't add context to that stuff, so it sort of drives people to the platform that they're on, thinking that they can get the same thing.
Yeah.
And like maybe there's a scenario where they go to the platform, they try, they're like it didn't work. They end up going to that creator's stream, being like, right, so what am I doing that's different? That's not quite the same.
That's,
Oh, you're doing
yeah.
that. Oh, well, so it's a very deep rabbit hole.
And it, I guess, not just a rabbit hole in general, but it's not just, again, I'm not signifying just Kick only. I'm not pulling Kick aside and saying
Hmm.
it's that. So it's
Oh,
it's
no.
everywhere. It's on
Yeah,
Twitch. It's everywhere. Um, and the problem is it's missed context that would shape the situation a lot better for the people who seem to think that they can just come over and start making 1,000 subs in a month. Like, sure, that is possible if you put in the work.
yeah,
And I guess what a lot of content creators fail to realize is content creation isn't about playing games to your community. Is It's probably 15% of the actual joy of content creation is actually
yeah,
getting time to play the games.
yeah,
The other 85% is hard freaking work. It's marketing, it's selling your brand, it's getting your business. And I know we put up an analogy yesterday on the phone is when it comes time to start a new business. So again, content creation is a business. There's no question about it. You're competing with millions of other content creators.
yeah,
So how do you market in that space? Now we're seeing it across many things. We see in real life. Look at the latest burger joint that pops up. If they didn't advertise on radio or TV or in the newspapers or on Facebook or Instagram, Twitters, all those places, how would you ever find out about them? The difference being is these people that come over and go, oh, I'm going to give Kick a month, and if I'm not affiliated, I'll go back to Twitch. Like, what are you actually doing in that month to make that happen for yourself?
yeah, yeah. I mean, like
You know,
the classic story that I've always brought up. I had a friend who saw me streaming, who wanted to give it a go. You know,
Mhm.
streamed for like an hour, and then complained that no one showed up. It's like, well, first off, you're a nobody. No one knows that you're streaming. You only
Yeah,
streamed for an hour and you gave up. So, yes, no one's going to come to your stream. Like, you need to reach out. It starts in your closest group. You reach out to your closest group, be like, yo, I'm doing this. You know, try
yeah.
and try
Reach
and
out to your
get that
homies.
try and get that group in. Then that group
Yeah,
can sort of sprawl out a bit, get the word out. But you've also got to
Yep,
do that yourself.
that's right. But again, like it's ridiculous as to how much I'm seeing it across the board. Like it's even coming from people that I respected too. Like there was some people that I used to respect in the content circle, and I'm now going, what what triggered in your mind to backflip on what you're doing to expect instant gratitude or instant anything? Like that bordering on the entitlement behavior, that mentality is, oh, I've been streaming for 10 years on Twitch and I should instantly be a partner. It's like, no,
No,
you've got to work for it. If you change a job, if you move from, say, Macca's to Burger King, you're not going to walk out of Macca's and straight into a thing because you've got, no, they're going to want to test you. They're going to want to see what your abilities are, right? And it's the same with content creation. And I guess the other part of this is, I don't know how much you've seen this, but on some of the Twitter posts, it's like, "Hey, I'm new to Kick. Hey, drop on by," and then they tag, like Trainwrecks and Steak Eddie, and it's like, why do you think that is going to work? Like, I get it, I understand what you're trying to achieve there, but you look desperate. You
yeah.
look like you need the
It
instant button so you can go
well,
and do
it,
something
it's
with your life.
it's not necessarily that they're utilizing the system, because there
Oh, I get
are
it.
there are people who watch those tags. As soon as that tag shows up, they're like all over it. So
Hmm.
it's sort of it's a sneaky way to try and gain some traction. I
It's desperate.
Yeah,
There's You can tag the platform. You can tag there's always a retweet section of a platform. I know like Kick's got like 4 or 5 different ones that you can tag. People have set up accounts to help retweet all that stuff and push it out and do all that kind of shit. That's all there.
yeah,
Do you really need to go to the founders technically and tag
no,
them?
no. But do you also
You
need
know,
to have like 12 different tags plus 10 different hashtags as well in your tweet? No, you don't. You don't
no.
need to go to that extent.
I mean, it's good to tag people. It's good to tag like your friends, obviously, to say, "Hey, look, we're going live,"
Yeah,
because their friends will see it as well. But I mean, to go down the pathway of actually going towards the founding members of a platform literally looks like desperation.
but see, like on that tagging friends thing, I've seen people complain about that as well. you
Oh
know
yeah, we've been
they're
on the
like,
receiving
oh,
end of that.
stop tagging people in your going live tweets. That just that's just wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. It's like, yeah, okay, there are people who do just genuinely just tag people, you know
Hmm,
uh but there are others, who go, oh, hey, do you mind if I tag you in my tweets? you know
hmm.
then it's like, oh yeah, sure, go nuts,
Yeah, we
because
had that situation.
that's essentially, multiple communities actually seeing that tweet. Then
Yeah. Well, one of the things that both myself and Santa Lady had when we were doing that is we had someone come in and go, "Oh, I don't want you to tag me in your going live tweets." I'm like, "Okay, no problem." And they were really uppity and they were really antsy about it. And I said, if you don't mind me asking, is there a problem? Yeah, I don't want you taking my community. I'm like, what? Sorry? At what point do you own your community? Are they not free to go and look whatever they want?
that
So I
sounds
said,
like
okay,
something
no,
my
that's cool.
son would say.
I said, that's fine. Like I won't tag you. That's cool. And then I made a statement on one of my streams. I said, look, I've had this situation play out, and we won't be tagging people. And then in my chat blew up and like, you don't tag me, I'm kicking your ass. I'm like, oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they're like, no, we want to know when you're live. We want to know that because
yeah,
that's why we support you. We want to
yeah.
know that information. I'm like, it poses the question: is what do you tag?
Yeah.
Do you tag a platform because everybody technically is watching kick.com or
Oh
kick.tv
yeah.
or whatever they're watching, right? Or glimish.tv. They're all watching that tag, right? But then do you tag individuals? And
Yeah.
from that point on, I started treating tagging system as much as you do with your marketing ploy and how you deal with it is you you odd tag people here and there, like, hey, going live, come and
Yeah.
check it out, hanging with, whatever, and then you at
Yeah.
somebody because it attaches to their network.
Yeah.
Now, again, you don't want to be that kind of person who goes out and goes, going live, URL, and then start tagging 19 or 20 friends in your thing because, okay, I get it. It's going to go out to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people,
Yeah.
and in some cases, thousands of people. But again,
Yeah.
if you haven't
Uh,
made that connection with those people, how
mm,
are the people going to know you? Why are they going to come to your channel?
yeah. I think realistically, looking at this from like an objective point of view, uh, tagging people should really only happen when you are actually doing something with them. You know,
Yes.
if you are in a chat, you are hanging out, or you are playing a game with said person, or you are doing a podcast with said person, yeah, tag that person. Like that's obviously accepted. That's fine, and I think that's where the threshold is. You know, in regards to tagging the platform, yeah, tag the platform. I mean, they get exposure. You just
Mm-hmm.
sort of hanging on to the rope behind them, essentially.
That's
So
right.
it doesn't really hurt at all. And like I've even seen people say, why do you tag the platform? It doesn't actually do anything, but it's like, yeah, but it kind of does. Like it's
It
weird.
does.
'Cause it does, but it doesn't. It's sort of a
Well,
it's sort of a weird area because like I I tag the platform when I go live, right? And I have people I don't even know, like those tweets or whatever. Um, but I never see those people in my streams, which is really weird. So just by me tagging the platform, they're liking it for the simple fact that I've essentially shouted out the platform.
yeah, it does work and it can work in a scenario where it gives you exposure to the platform. Now, and I'll say that in I guess in a double pronged attack there because one, sure, everyone sees the tag going, oh, Speed's tagging at kick again. At the end of the
Yeah,
day, it sits in the back of their mind as to I haven't actually seen Speed tag Facebook. What? Why is
mm,
what? Is he purely only there now? Okay, so maybe I need to go and check it out. So it'll sit in and it'll make them think a little bit. Then on the flip side is you just don't know that one of those people who is following that tag just happens to, you know, raid your community with, you know,
yeah,
1,000 people. You just never know. So
yeah,
the fact is, the only bad promotion of your channel is one you don't do, in
yeah.
theory.
I
Because
mean,
even the smallest promotion is still some sort of promotion to
yeah,
build that branding.
yeah, and like on tagging the platform as well. Like it's it sort of it helps people who don't know what the platform is as well.
Hmm.
So if you're like, oh, I'm playing this game, streaming exclusively on Kick, and I give a link, but or
Mhm.
whatever, there may be people who be like, the fuck is Kick? I don't know what the hell Kick is, but by tagging them, they can just easily, you know, click on the tag, go to their page and be like, oh, okay. So it doesn't actually require them to go to that platform and sign up, whatever, go through all the hassle. Like they can just
Mm.
go, oh, that's the new streaming platform. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do. I do agree to that in a lot of ways because you've got to get that exposure somehow. And again, you're not just helping yourself at that point when you tag the platform. You start pushing the platform. You start pushing it out to all of your people, and then all of your people's people that are
Yeah.
watching, liking and retweeting because they're supporting you, so they're expanding and expanding. So I like that fact. But the problem is that still folds back into that context of the growth of a person's channel. You know, because again, if you're doing 6 months worth of promotion and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then all of a sudden you post out that hey, you've made 1,000 follows, that's all you leave it at. You're
Mm.
not depicting that general run through the line and that system. So
Yeah.
you're at that point where you're not providing context. And I think that's the problem. Is we've seen it across other platforms where the context
Yeah.
isn't actually there based around
Yeah.
what we
I
know.
mean, and
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to sort of let go of as well.
Mhm.
I will say for me personally, it does sit at the back of your mind. You see all these, miracle tweets where
Mm.
they've hit affiliate in like record time, and they're just getting dropped gifted subs galore. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
that's really tempting,
It's a real
especially
big
when you,
carrot, that one.
yeah, it's especially when there's a 95% cut coming your way. That's a really tempting sort of message. Um,
Mm.
but and that's like sort of always sat in the back of my mind. I've mostly moved on from that now, but the newest thing is sort of watching everyone I know hit affiliate, and I'm just sort of still holding back. Now that doesn't worry me. It's just one of those things that sort of it just niggles in the back of your brain, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong? Why aren't
Yeah.
I getting the same growth as everyone else? Blah blah. It's like, but because what this the last month alone, I've put in like over 90 hours of streaming. I'm not. It's not like I'm not giving it a go. Like I'm giving it a fair go, but I'm also doing my own thing, which is
Yeah, that's right.
what I wanted to do anyway. It's like I'm obviously
Yeah.
not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but again, it's that thought that sits in the back of your mind. You can't really escape it. You've just got to learn to move on from that and focus more on what you want out of the whole
Yes,
scenario.
yes and no to a degree. Like there is a way around it. The problem is, like I said, the whole kicks not working on going back to Twitch type scenario doesn't help.
Mm,
The ones, again, in your position or newer streamer
but
coming over to check it out, then that's not helping the picture because that streamer doesn't get what they want.
yeah,
So they're going to go and bugger off to, again, they're not looking for the solid community. What they're looking for is people. That's what they're looking for. So they're
yeah,
chasing where the numbers are. And I've seen it through
but
a lot of business. It's not just content creation either.
it's also them failing to fall out of their comfort zone as well.
Mhm. Yep.
Because they've obviously stepped out of their comfort zone, being on the platform that they've trusted for so long.
Mhm.
It's almost like I reckon there's a good number of people who just want it to fail. Who don't
Yeah.
want to give it a try, want it to fail, be like, right, well, I'm going back to my old platform, because
Yeah.
that's what they're comfortable with. That's where most of their community is, because they refuse to move over or some garbage, So,
Mhm.
there's always an easier option that I reckon is the reason behind most of it.
Then that paves that question is if you have to go and chase your community, are they really community to your channel?
Absolutely not. Like, there's
Because once you bailed on that platform and you've gone elsewhere, what have they all done? They haven't followed you. So they've gone to another channel. They've gone around more people. So they're not really community at that point. They're literally just a viewer on a platform. They're not even part of your community at
Yeah,
that stage.
yeah. I mean, like, like I'm happy with my growth, right? Because currently I'm sitting like what 43 followers or whatever, but I'm getting like 10 to 15 viewers a stream. That's
Yeah.
tops. I mean, that's better numbers than I could ever hope for. But that just shows that my returning viewers are the ones who actually gave a shit. It's like
That's right. Yeah.
I'm not just getting random follows just to get followed. You know, it's like those numbers actually mean something when they're that high.
Well, I mean that again that falls into the content creator and what they identify as what they want.
Hmm.
Are you looking for solely the monetization, or are you looking for viewership? Because they unfortunately you're not going to get either unless you learn how to build a community and be connective tissue between both of those points. And that's the problem is they say, oh yeah, I don't care about numbers, but then they run back to Twitch
Oh,
and go,
of course they
oh,
were a bit,
I'm
but
only getting three
right.
viewers a stream. Well, you're now worried about numbers. Like,
I mean,
what are you like?
uh,
What is it you actually want?
everyone's going to worry about numbers at some stage. Like there is no avoiding the numbers game. It is there.
Oh,
It's
that's right.
thrown in your face. You know, at some point there's going to be some form of analytic that you're going to look at, and it's going to
Hmm.
sit in the back of your mind. You're going to think about it. You know, even for people who don't really care, and they're just doing their own thing, they will see the viewer count, every now and then, and that will sit in the back of their mind. It may not worry them, but it's still there. So, but people are more looking for, you know, the the miracle stream.
Yeah,
You know,
that
yeah,
yeah.
I'm and you see it, you're seeing it on Kick, right? Um,
Hmm.
as an example, yeah, it's early stages in Kick, but what are the most streamed things right now? They're all those, more popular
FPS
games and
on
whatnot.
Fortnite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So no one's really doing like new games. Like if a new game came out, yeah, some people are, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
So the people who are doing the newer content sort of
Hmm.
fall off the back of the truck, essentially. Uh, so
We
it's
we saw that on Glimish as well, though, where majority of your player base or your streaming base were doing the same thing. Like
yeah,
they were looking for that meta game, because again, that was from they were
and
looking for that
and
meta game. They were
that
playing
was a weird one.
pods and Fortnite or Destiny too. Like that's what they
Yeah,
were playing.
and that's what didn't make sense on Glimish, right? Because Glimish was so small, and it wasn't very hard to find someone else to watch. It
Yeah,
really
that's
wasn't
right.
that hard. So the fact that they couldn't get out of that mental state of I've got to play this game to
Hmm.
become famous,
Yeah.
you know, on a platform where you're only competing against, I guess, six other streamers at the time, that's a little bit silly.
Hmm. But how many times do we see out of say I don't know 10 channels live? I'd say 50% were playing the same game.
Yeah. Oh, early on, yes.
It
Like
was it was just like,
early on, you'd be like,
what are you
oh,
doing? Like, why are you trying to
Apex, Apex, Apex.
Apex, COD,
Fortnite,
Apex?
Apex, Destiny. Yeah, it, you know, that's what you'd see, and you're like, oh well, I want to see something that's different, and we
It's
sort of went into that mentality. We attacked it in that way. We were like, right, well, we're just gonna do whatever, because it doesn't matter. You're gonna get seen anyway.
that's right. Well, take a look at and I know this is someone that you followed as well, and you love his content. Take Barksy for example.
Hmm.
But that guy's made affiliate playing Minecraft. Now, again, like it's
Oh
not even
yeah,
like he said, "Hey, this is really weird for me because I used to be an FPS. Like I was playing FPSs, but he's flipped the switch and gone over to
yeah,
Minecraft, and he's just doing some random stuff, having a great old time, and
yeah,
you know that there puts it in case in point is if you're having fun, and that's what streaming needs to be. It needs to be about the fun. Stop looking at the fake narrative on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, and have fun with your stream. Now, you know, another one that I'll give a bit of a call out to was Baggins.
hmm,
Again, he used to play COD, he used to play Destiny 2, he used to play that. He actually loaded into Destiny 2 the other day and got so repulsed by it, he turned it off and just said, "Yeah, no, just throw it away." Like again,
yeah,
because he knew he wasn't going to have fun.
yeah,
And that's the thing. As a
yeah,
content creator, if you're looking to make an improvement, go and have fun. That's the thing. Have fun playing what were you playing last night? Railway Empire.
Railway Empire
You know,
2, yeah.
you were playing you
Oh,
play
right.
Sudoku and
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
have fun.
I sort of shot myself in the foot with Railway Empire too, um, only because I was impatient and I didn't want to do the 45 minutes tutorials. So yeah, like early on, it was like super frustrating, but once I started getting into the game, it was really enjoyable. Like because I sort of stepped out of my comfort zone because I've been doing the same thing for a very long time, where I'll sort of cycle through a set amount of games, but I'll keep adding more games to my pile, but I don't actually play them.
Keep playing the
So
same games all the
yeah,
time.
so now I'm
Rocket
actually
League.
yeah, uh, yeah. But like now I'm starting to delve into newer games. Games that I would think, I probably wouldn't play that, but I'm giving them a go anyway, and it's turning out to be a
Yeah.
fairly good thing. You know, Sometimes you just
But
have
I
to do
think
that.
that fake narrative on the social media side. I mean, like again, it's not even just Kick. I mean, it's across all the platforms. It's the fake narrative that you're going to go there and be something huge in a short space of time. It's not going to happen. You have to grind this stuff. You have to work for it. Same as you do in anything. You've got to work for it.
Yeah,
But
it's like
most of all,
you
if you're
don't.
a content creator,
Yeah,
have fun.
yeah. It's like applying for a job, being there for
Mhm.
one day, and just expecting to be manager. It's like,
Yeah,
no, that's not going to happen. Sorry,
it didn't happen. So
you've got to
I'm
prove
going to leave the
yourself
job
first.
because okay, well, I'm going to leave the job now because I'm not a manager. So bye.
Yeah, it's like, where's my pay
Again,
rise? You've only been here for 8 hours. you know,
yeah, but that's 8 hours of solid work. Where's my pay rise?
yeah,
But look that's the difference, and this is where I say because if they depicted through their narrative that streaming was bloody hard work, it takes time and it's exhausting and it's frustrating, half the people wouldn't do it
I think, but
because
even
it's looked to
so,
be such a chiming light. Everyone goes, "Oh, I can do that. Watch me grow," and then bang, it's they start watching their numbers. Oh, I've dropped two people. I better end my stream because if I drop any more, I won't have. But you
well,
never
yeah,
know that
I'll never
that
have
D
my. I
count
won't have my. I'll lose my
flipping
average
around.
viewer count or some shit. Yeah,
Yeah, but yet you don't know that in the next 15 or 20 minutes you don't get four or five more people come in because of you're having
oh,
fun, you're doing
yeah.
what you like,
Like, but
bingo,
like
because you're number watching, staring
you
at
could
it.
be hosted or rated. In the
Hmm.
next 15 minutes. You know, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. But I have seen big name streamers who have done those messages
Mm.
and tweets where they've gone to great length because they've gone through hardship or whatever, and they're like, this gig is really tough. It's just is a massive mental game from start to finish. Especially if you're a full time content creator, that is literally full time. It is almost 24/7, basically,
Mm-hmm.
like where you just have to keep going at it.
But even as a part-time streamer, even not as a full-time content creator, you're still doing
Yeah,
full-time hours.
yeah,
You're still putting
yeah,
30, 40 hours plus into your stream, and you're not even streaming. You're not even
yeah.
you're not
It,
here doing
yeah,
that's the thing.
like
Like,
there are people out there who are doing these tweets and messages,
hmm,
but for the majority of people looking into the scenario, they don't see that. They
hmm,
see big boom success. Not holy shit, this is really hard. You've got to do all
hmm.
this hard work. It's just a hit start stream. Wow, people actually showed up. Oh look, oh I'm big and famous now. I'm
Yeah,
getting all
right.
this money. They see these miracle stories, and that's what they really attach to. Uh, people people these days don't uh, look at hard work. They,
No.
they they just don't want to see it. Hard work is that evil thing. We'll just shuffle it off into the corner, and we'll take easy street, and then we'll complain about
Right.
everything going wrong and not going our way, and stomp our feet and make some noise, but we're not actually going to do anything for it. You know, you have to do
That's
hard
that's
work.
also that's also the funny part too, is when they do stomp their feet and make the noise and everyone calls them out. It's like, well, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing? It's like they get
Yeah,
defensive. It's just like, well,
and
what did you
that's
expect? Like, you're literally
that,
having a tantrum and people are calling you out on it to put your shit together and get back on the train and actually go and have fun, and you're going to be defensive about that.
yeah, and it's just
Well,
this generation in this society, right?
yeah,
It's not even about streaming; it's everything.
yeah,
They refuse to put in the work. They just expect things to fall into their lap, and then they get confronted. It
hmm,
could be someone who's got an absolute valid point that
hmm,
completely debunks everything that they're talking about, and they won't accept it. Immediately, they'll fire back and be like, it's you. You're the problem here. It's like, huh? What?
yeah, right,
How does
yeah,
that work?
yeah.
No,
It comes back to that narrative though, that fake narrative that
yeah.
it's easy to do shit.
But I
That's
mean, but like
someone
even
goes and gets a job, and then within 6 months, they're advancing up the leaderboard. You don't know what that person's done to get where they are. Like, they might have had to work their ass off for 6 solid months. You
yeah,
don't know what they're doing, so it's the fake narrative that everything's easy to do.
but like even like us talking about this
Hmm.
subject, there's going to be people who are going to disagree with us heavily. Be like,
Oh
that's
yeah,
bullshit.
100%.
I'm not going to do that. That's garbage. Or they just completely disagree with us for a totally different reason. You're absolutely going to get that.
Yeah.
And like I see it. I see the
Mm.
reactions on our YouTube videos. You see
Hmm.
those occasional groups of thumbs down. You're like, okay. you know,
You're
we
thumbing down
spoke
the video because
uh,
why?
we spoke about a fairly valid point that day, and you seem to disagree with it somehow. Okay, we'll let you be. You do your thing.
It's- but then if you get into something really highly controversial,
Oh,
put a thumbs up on it and go like, "Oh, that's a great subject."
oh,
Because I tell you what this is. This is fake narrative drama. That's
yeah.
what it is. It's promote the negative and the drama to cover legitimate
Well,
story that needs to be spoken about.
it's more about not being able to accept the truth.
Yeah,
You know,
that as well.
uh, like our generation, right? I think Lady posted a video on Facebook.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did
I think
actually.
you know where I'm going with this. You know, it's like
Yeah.
our generation, right? You know, we fought for the truth. You know, we wanted the truth, regardless of how bad it was. We wanted the truth.
Mhm.
This
Yep.
generation doesn't want to accept the truth, regardless of what it is, unless it's
Mhm.
their own.
That's
And
right.
that, so you've got, you've got, you know, our generation, which sort of melded well with society because we all understood each other, you know,
Mhm.
and now you've got this society where you've got two opposing forces that are clashing, you know.
Yeah, they can't blend. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And again, that falls back to that fake narrative: is you don't have to blend because I didn't blend, and look at me, I'm successful.
it's,
That's what it comes down to. It
yeah,
comes down to that whole fake narrative, and
yeah,
it's nothing more than just a whole lot of bullshit. That's what it
yeah.
is. Now, if you're going to try and build a community, you need to blend with people. It's there's no question about it. Like
It's
you need to do
basically,
this stuff.
you know, it's basically becoming likable. I think
Mhm.
it's like it's this
Yep.
self gratitude thing where people just need to be everyone's favorite. It's like,
Yep.
well, you know, it's this whole world of, you know, I'm going to expel the negative from my life, and I am only going to have positive, which is fine to an extent. You know, you can't
Mm.
you can't get rid of all negativity out of your life. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter who you are, how you think.
No
You
way.
cannot in any way have zero negative influences in your life. Not going to happen. Argue with me.
No.
I dare you. Um, but you can't. No,
Go to
but
his
there's
stream and do it. Go on. Go to his stream and argue with him.
do it. Yeah, hit me up on Twitter. But it's true. Like you can't avoid the negativity. Like it's going to be everywhere. There's going to be people that aren't going to like you. You need to accept that. You know, we've accepted it. We know there's people out there that don't like us. It's like water for ducks back. Oh well,
Don't
tough
care.
tits. Move
Like,
on. You know.
I mean, the funny thing is they don't like it because we've got an opinion, but yet they're the first to fire off their opinion and make sure people like their opinion.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. Go float your boat up the river
But again,
because at the end
it's
of the day,
yeah,
there's more people that accept the fact that shit is wrong, and the only way to change it is by voicing it.
yeah. It's about accepting the truth. You know, the truth around streaming is that it's hard yakka,
Hard work. It is. It's hard work.
and it
There's no question about it.
there are no overnight successes. You know,
There's
and the
no
ones
easy
that
way out.
are, they've paid for that. So
Or they've
uh,
already got an existing following.
all that, you know, they've come from another platform where they've had like thousands of people following them, and they've made this big
Exactly.
transition. But you know, people on the new
Mhm.
platform aren't aware of said person over there. You know, so
That's
they
right.
see them come over, go boom. It's like,
Well, okay.
well,
So to put that case in point as well, um, we met Super James World on Glimish,
yeah.
right? Now, both you and I were Mixer, and I was heavily in with partners. Right, I wasn't partnered on Mixer, but I was heavily involved in partners
And I was down the other end of the
around
road.
the
Yeah.
platform. You were outside the front door.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from that, when we met Jay on Glimish, he told us he was a Mixer partner. Hang on, we were there, and yet we
Yeah.
never saw him. We didn't know who he was. So again, it's how the world bounces. Sometimes you're going to meet people that you never knew existed in the content creation world.
Yeah.
Or little did you realize that they were sitting probably right beside you in the same platform.
Yeah. Living
So
an hour
again,
away. I mean, who would have thought?
don't even go there because we met literally at the old place, right? And even now, from from the sim racing stuff I was doing as a commentator, the find out there's another commentator literally 2 minutes that way.
Yeah,
It's just like, come on.
like
But
just
it's
down the
those
road.
sorts
Yeah,
of things. You don't know who is coming into your channel. Like I said, sure, I wasn't a mixer partner, but I was in the circle with them. And
yeah.
I know multiple mixer partners. Now, there's a mixer partner or former mixer partner here on Kick. I know that. I've seen them here. Again, are they having their success because of their previous? No, they're not. They're not having that success here. Why? Could be 100 reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not promoting Kick. Maybe they're just here hanging out, just trying to lay low, trying to, keep a low profile and see what happens.
And I think that's what they
That's
should be
cool.
doing as well. You shouldn't be using your previous status as like a
Driving
pulling
power.
thing. Yeah. Be like, oh, I'm, I was a Twitch partner. Now I'm over here. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why do you have to mention that? Why do you have to mention that you were a partner on another platform?
Clout.
Yeah, it is.
Clout.
It's
They're
it's
chasing
all
clout.
clout.
That's
Yeah,
all it is.
like you don't need to do. You're better off. Even if you are in that sort of status, you're better off if you are moving to a new platform. Take who you can, who's willing to come over, and then start fresh. You know,
But
don't
here's the
don't
thing, though.
use your previous stuff as that.
That brings that fake narrative back into play again. Because if you're a Twitch partner, you should already have a fairly hefty community. You should have no
At that
issues
stage,
of
yeah,
retaining at least enough. Again, for affiliate is only 75 and 5 hours. If you can't do that in a day, technically, if you've already a Twitch partner,
oh yeah.
you're facing problems.
I
You're
mean,
already facing
you
issues at
you
that
should
point.
have that
Your
after
community is
like
not yours.
one stream, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Ideally, yeah.
Again, that brings that fake narrative because everything's supposed to be so easy. It's supposed to be so easy. I can just walk in there and people are just going to know who I am. No, because again, I didn't know that Super James World was a mixer partner, and yet I was streaming right beside the bloke. Not everybody is going to know who you are just because you're a Twitch partner, and that's one thing that I think is another fake narrative is all these Twitch partners seem to think that everybody knows who they are.
Yeah.
Like, I got no fucking idea.
No.
I
I
couldn't
mean,
tell you who the Twitch partners are. I don't care. It's not in my interest. I'm
yeah,
not networking with those people.
yeah. I mean, like, I knew a handful of mixer partners, or knew of. I didn't know them personally, but they seem to be the more controversial ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that most people would know about. So, like, you know,
Mhm.
the lower tiered partners, you don't know them. I mean, like, we never saw each other on the platform ever.
No,
you know, and
no.
I was there for 4 years. You were there for almost just as long, I think.
I was there for the
Uh,
whole time, Mixer.
yeah.
I was a viewer for a long period of time, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we,
I
we were
never,
on the platform for the same amount of time. Yet over 4 years, never
never saw each
crossed
other.
path once.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah,
And it wasn't until the roads did cross that it was like, oh, shit, you're close by, and that's the thing, like, just because of your platform status doesn't mean anything. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, uh, going, say, anybody from here that's a partner on Kick, going into a brand new platform and saying, oh, I'm a Kick partner. Great.
yeah, cool.
So what? You're here on, say,
Yeah,
Share Plays, for example.
yeah,
Over there, like, go and do your thing. Like, there's a space here to do your thing. Do it. Because at the end of the day, and you and I have spoken about this in private, but at the end of the day, whether it's Kick, whether it's Twitch, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, Share Plays, Glimish, any one of the 100 of other streaming platforms, all it is a medium. It's only
yeah,
a way for you to get this out there.
yeah,
That's all it is. Again, if they offer you anything for being on the platform, if they offer you 95.5 percentage, or if they offer you monetization points, anything like that, that's only a mere bonus.
Yeah.
All that site is a medium. Now, like it or not, agree with it or not, reality check is you could be doing the same thing anywhere on any one of those platforms, and you could face the same growth negativity, or
Yeah.
you might just explode. You might just be that one person who goes in and just, man, it opens up.
Yeah.
But it still falls back to then how you've promoted yourself going forward, and it still clarifies that fake narrative of you can't just be that person. You have to work for it.
See, like the way I look at platforms, right? Again, like I try to look at pros and cons. And I feel like that's necessary when it comes to whatever platform that you are doing your content on. What are the
Yeah.
pros and cons that best suit you as a content
Mhm.
creator? It's like because everyone's different, obviously, because everyone is occupying many different platforms. You know,
Yeah.
we're not all just sort of crammed in on one place because they've got the better option. It's like people have different needs. It's like people streaming over on Trovo. Like for us, we don't understand why the hell they would choose that option, but to them, they've obviously, well, most of them have weighed up some sort of pros and cons and been like, well, that's better for me,
Yeah.
you know. But there is that group of people who aren't looking at pros and cons, and yeah, it's just they want fame, growth, popularity, the
They're
instant
just following
success.
the sheep.
Yeah,
That's all they're doing.
yeah, trying to take the easy way, so to speak.
What content creation needs is more black sheep, not following sheep.
Yeah,
They
and
need that one sheep that just breaks away and says, "I'm going to go and do my own thing because this is the way it's going to be."
and the one
Not
thing
just
that we spoke about was mainly share play, right?
yeah,
So we know people who are going to be streaming over there or do stream over there, and we kind of question why they're putting so much effort into that when they had equal opportunity elsewhere on other platforms. You know, it's
the one thing. So so just on that, the one thing that scares me the most, right, is again we fall down that fake narrative freaking rabbit hole again, and it's going to come out.
yeah,
I know people in my circle that are waiting. They are not streaming right now. They are waiting for share plays because it's going to
yeah,
be huge. Oh, it's going to be massive. Okay,
but they haven't
I get
streamed
your
there
passion.
yet.
I see your line. Right, I know what you're doing. But understand the injustice you're doing to yourself by not being active anywhere. Now, take nothing away. Share plays itself could be the next best thing, and I know I wish nothing but success for any platform to challenge the status quo of streaming platforms. I
Yeah,
really do. Um, Again, I'm not going to slag off on the platform. That's not what I'm about. I'm not going to do that. My problem though is there already seems to be a point of conjecture where they're getting alpha testers, which is great. They're alpha testing, fantastic. But it's the platform putting up one channel and advertising everybody to flock to that one channel. And then that gives off the whole, oh, look at this. This is great. Oh, I've never had so many viewers. This is fantastic. Yes, because you're the only
yes,
person there and they're
yes,
pushing that direction for testing
yeah,
purposes. What is going to happen? The doors fling open, and now everybody who's been watching that testing who hasn't taken part of it now wants to stream there.
yeah,
Your 50 or 60 viewers now become 3 or 4, and now
yeah,
you start getting that numbers game in your head going, oh,
yeah,
maybe this wasn't so good after all.
yeah.
Now you
Because
start
I mean,
creating that self doubt.
yeah, because it's such a massive problem that people aren't realizing yet. You know, you got the small handful of people who are streaming at the moment. There's like
Mhm.
5 or 6 people that they sort of float through, who are
They
doing
are
the
doing a few
alpha
more.
test streams. Yeah, but there's really not that many, and they only happen every, every week
Week.
or
I think it's
whatnot. Yeah,
Wednesday. Every Wednesday. I think I do two on a Wednesday,
yeah.
which is
So
great. Like I love the alpha
yeah,
testing. That's fantastic. But
but
that's not depicting what the overall process is going to be.
exactly, and like I worry for these people who are doing those alpha streams. When they start streaming on their own, yes, they're going to get less viewership. But it's more, that certain people, right? Why are they pushing so hard to be one of these alpha streamers? And the only reason is because they want to be popular. They want to be the name that everyone knows.
Mm.
That's the only reason. It's not about testing out the platform. It's not like it's genuine stuff. Seeing how it all goes, how it feels, testing bugs, all that sort of jazz. It's I want my name out there. I can then say when the platform launches, I was one of the alpha streamers. I was
Yeah.
one of the kingpins that started all of this. You know,
So the other thing that worries me around that situation too is, we kind of saw it the um in the Glimmers Discord was they had the original Glimmers. Well, that's that again creates a
yeah,
divide. That creates a segregation in the community because
yeah,
I was here first. I was one of the originals, and you can't tell me anything because I know everything about it. That creates division in the group, and the dismissive behavior starts there.
yeah,
Rather than having everybody who was there before launch of the platform as an original Glimmer, or even just not having that period at all, and just creating everybody as an equal, is where the problem could lie. Now, if by chance these alpha testers get a special tag or something to their name, you're going to create that diversive environment,
I mean, well,
and
Mixer had
that's
the same
building on
thing,
that already. Yeah,
because Mixer had the beam badge,
yeah.
which I quite happily had next to my name. Um, I think it
You didn't have a
was
choice. It was just the
yeah.
stuff
I mean, it was there,
there.
yeah,
You didn't.
but
You
but
couldn't
it
turn
didn't.
it off.
But I didn't have a problem with that. It didn't feel
Yeah,
like there was segregation there. Because it wasn't
mm,
just a small handful of people.
yeah,
By the time Beam became Mixer, it was quite a significant amount of people. Like
yeah.
thousands of people were getting this badge, so it was fine. You know, uh,
All that
for
showed though is those people were there from that platform, so they were the existing crew. It wasn't a direct like, "Hey, we're OGs and we're special tags, special
yeah,
colors, and all that stuff." It wasn't any of that. See, that's where it creates a different environment. It's like if the Beam guys were looking around, they could literally see, "Oh, you're a Beam OG. Oh, sweet."
yeah,
Again, like I said, we were on the same platform. We were both
yeah,
Beam OGs, still never knew each other.
yeah,
So again, it's those situations. But again,
yeah.
what
But I
worries me
think,
is especially for a new platform,
hmm, I think
that
for
new
for
platform
Beam
syndrome.
it was different though, because it was the same platform. It was just a transition from one brand to another. So
Yep.
nothing really changed. So having that badge really was sort of like, yeah, I'm from those times, you know.
Yeah.
But like, say if the alpha streamers on SharePlay do get a badge, that then creates some sort of hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's
It
you know
creates a division in the group.
yeah, because it is a very select few on a platform that could explode into tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean that's again the narrative comes back into that same play again. Is why would you want to create a division in your group? Now, the funny thing about it is half the alpha testers would was going on the back scenes anyway. So they're testing a platform, they're doing a stream, everything works. Cool.
Yeah.
What can you tell me? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I just literally turned it on and it went. Like, well,
Yeah.
shit, Sherlock, that's what all do. Like,
Yeah. Like,
okay, sure, they
and
might be a little bit clunky or whatever, but again, to say that it worked well in alpha, of course it is. There's only one stream on one server. You're not pushing more and more
yeah.
and more and more. And we saw it with the Glimish in the day because they had their Glim movies and everything was working. People were chatting, were talking, right? Everything was sweet. Launch a site, down it goes because there's just so much influx and you've got to have so much ability to
Yeah.
draw into to make that happen. And like I said, I think, you know, again, like we've spoken about, any platform is only a medium for you to get out there.
Yeah.
How you conduct yourself is what the difference is between success and moving to another platform. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. And like, um, on share play as well, like I worry about share play. I worry about share play turning into Glimish. You know, because it's essentially showing the same sort of trademarks at the moment, and it's very disturbing. You know, I worry that, you know, as soon as they go out of alpha and they're open to the public, which they should already be open to the public because everything works. Why would you not do that? But that's another thing. Like, when they actually open to the public and they've got like these thousands of people come in, you know, and you're going to have a whole swag of people streaming, which is great. Are you going to have the viewership? Is
Well,
the viewership
let's
going to be
not on
there, or is
that though.
literally everyone going to be streaming?
But what's to say that they don't get security attacks on day one as well? Just to highlight the fact that they're not ready.
Uh,
Now,
but
again, we've seen it across platforms. We've seen people do it with Twitch and YouTube, all that kind of stuff. We've seen it all happen before. When you're making noise in this space, it doesn't take much for people to start looking and be like, okay, we're waiting because as soon as you go, we're going to hit you with this and see what you can do with it.
yeah,
And we even saw it on Glimish. We
yeah,
saw the attacks over there. You know, it was made very clear. But again, the problem is, like you said, at what point do you draw the line in the sand and say, okay, we need to open the doors? Because right now we're just basically testing features that no one can use. Like,
yeah.
I get it. You want to
It,
test, you want to have this platform,
it almost seems to be the
but it's so much
meta
work.
with these smaller platforms. It's like, um,
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to learn from other platforms' mistakes by, you know, releasing a feature that doesn't quite work properly, or just
Hmm.
releasing a half-assed feature or
Well, I
whatever.
mean,
I mean,
take
we're
Kick,
seeing
for
it.
example.
Yeah.
They're in beta, but they're still building on things. They've given you, okay, here's the platform, here's the sub card. So we're giving you subs. Now we're going to start building. You know, you can come in,
Yeah.
you can use it. We can start making some money each way. We're building on things, and
Yeah.
look, you know, they've been building on a heap of things
Oh
lately.
yeah. Like they're
But
doing heaps
it's
of
always
stuff in
good
the
because you
background.
never know. Like
Yeah.
you wake up tomorrow and something news
Yeah.
on
Pretty
Kick.
much.
Like, wow.
I mean,
Look at,
what
and then,
it
like I
was.
said, you have you checked out the created? Have you checked out the moderator
Yeah.
dashboard? You're like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
go and check this out because
Yeah.
again, it was just exciting. You know, you got that thing. If you walk into if you walk into to a big streaming site, you walk into Twitch and you go, oh, okay, yeah, cool, still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not excited. I'm not getting hyped. I'm not getting energy
Yeah.
because
But,
it's there. Okay,
yeah. But
whatever.
like, but also on that, Twitch has completely run out of ideas. They're just adding shit in just for the sake of adding shit in. I mean, like here in
You
Kick,
know
you're
what I
like,
mean,
yeah,
though.
we woke up and it was like, oh, hey, there's a whole new moderation page that's just been created. It's like, yeah, you know, but there's still things that break. You know, we
Yeah,
the view account in the creator dashboard broke for like a week. it wasn't even a week. It was probably like about 4 days.
No, it was a couple of
Um,
days, but yeah,
it felt like a
they
week for
fixed
me
it.
because
But
of insomnia and shit. But uh, you had a broken view account where it showed zero, right? But but if you went to your channel, it showed the correct view account, and like so that was a bug
yeah,
that eventually got fixed. It's now fixed. So you know they
well,
are
it's
constantly
like
doing stuff, and they're constantly breaking stuff
it's like,
and constantly fixing stuff.
it's like that bug I found, like in the last week.
Yeah,
Like again, like, capitalization in the URL. Why is that even a thing? Why does that even register in the URL?
yeah,
Why was it allowing me to see parts of a channel, but not actually interact with the channel?
yeah.
But as soon as you decapitalize it, bang, it's right there. It's instant. And it's like, why is that a thing? Again,
I
I'm
think
sure they'll
that
look at it.
yeah,
I'm
I
sure they'll
that
figure
just
it
comes
out.
down to a
But
coding thing where for some reason the
yeah,
capitalization is sending you to the right place, but it's not quite right because of the
yeah,
capitalization.
that's right.
Yeah, that's just a small bug that I'm sure could get fixed overnight.
Well, I mean,
Um,
again, it's one of those things. Unless you
yeah,
really strike it, you're not going to know
yeah,
about it. It's those weird, quirky things like that.
yeah,
Like I didn't even realize. It
yeah,
wasn't until I looked at multiple other URLs and went, hold on, ding
mm,
ding, bam,
yeah,
there we go. So
yeah,
again, it's those weird, quirky things that you're not going to find until you're running weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks later.
yeah,
You know, and again, that's the thing. I I would love to see SharePlay succeed. Honestly, I think we need more in the space.
yes,
We need people to challenge the top dogs. We need
yeah,
that to happen.
yeah,
But you also need to bring the hype.
yeah.
You need to build
But
enjoyment and people be
there's
surprised of what you're delivering.
there's also this mentality of we're not going to release something until it's finished.
Yeah.
We're seeing it with SharePlay and Glimished right now. You know,
But then on that same side, how do you know that that new feature's coding isn't going to break something that was previously done in the system?
you know, like why not release a feature one at a time? Why do you have to wait for a handful of features to be finished before saying, right, well, we're at this stage now? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it works for you know some things, but in this day and age for streaming platforms, you're better off just releasing little bits
Yeah.
constantly here and there, instead of just being like, right, well, we've been working on this for the last 6 months. Here you go. Oh shit, it all broke because everyone's using it instead of just the one person who was coding it. You know,
Mm, that's right.
you need to get it
Oh, I
out there.
mean,
That's
like,
the whole point of an alpha and beta platform. It's not a complete platform. You can have bugs. You can work on stuff.
that's why that's why I kick, again, everyone's going to say, oh, it's just a Twitch ripoff and, it's doing, and fine, I get it. I do understand. It's, it's the surprise factor. Like, you don't know what you're going to wake up to tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's like, what are they working on today that's going to come out tomorrow?
yeah,
Because that's what they do. They're working on so much stuff right now. And like, I just, like I said, I'm not worried for SharePlay in that aspect. I just wish they would throw the doors open and get people using the platform, because I think it would be a much healthier fit to be able to be like, hey guys, this is what we've done overnight. Like,
yeah,
whoa, excellent. Rather than walking in and going, okay, here's a list. And you've got to
yeah.
spend your first like 3 days reading through the list and
I
going,
think
okay, we've got subs, we've got gift subs, we've got this, we've got this. Oh shit. Oh, I've got to wait till tomorrow now to read the rest of the list.
yeah, and I think what SharePlay is doing has come off the back of Glimish as well, and
Yeah, I
possibly
think
other platforms
it's
that didn't succeed. Um, where Glimish did launch in an alpha state, and it wasn't exactly what everyone expected it to be. Things broke a
that's
lot,
right.
uh,
Yeah.
and that sort of tainted the image on the streaming platform face.
Yeah.
So SharePlay's looked at that and been like, right, well, we're not going to make those mistakes. We're going to working on a good handful of features. We're going to launch with that. That's our base, which is cool. I think their base is a little too much. uh,
Yeah.
they could have definitely launch with less, and I think they should. Um, but like now we're waiting on SharePlay to launch. Whenever that's going to be. I think it's sometime soon. Is the general sort of idea. I think it was like mid this year. Um, but like then you've got Glimish, who at the moment is teasing a beta. Nothing's there. Like it's like, what are you waiting for?
Whenever that comes. Yeah,
What
exactly. Yeah.
what exactly are you working on to classify yourself in beta fashion? Like the platform itself is solid. Like why not just tick it over?
Again, on that, they're supposed to be a transparent thing. So why do you need to hide anything? But what is it you're hiding that you
Yeah,
can't tell people as to why you are not ready?
yeah. I mean, the one thing we've always sort of bickered about amongst ourselves is for an open platform, they're extremely secretive about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Sort of like the government.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That again, I see SharePlay not making that mistake as they're being somewhat open with what's going on. But again, they're also not saying, "Hey, we're open and we're transparent." They're just saying we're doing our thing and they're getting it done. Granted, it feels very much slower than what it could have been. But like I said, I still think there's space for them in the industry. I just I don't want to see a platform or a how would you say say a platform launch as a complete building. I would much rather come in on the foundation which has been laid and they're going to build and everything and just
yeah,
walking in to try and work your way through all the jumble and the mess and what's
yeah,
going on and where everything is and how it works and what's going on and how to use it all.
yeah.
Think about walking into
Uh,
a game that's got no tutorial and it just says you're at the end game. Like, what? How did I get to end game?
yeah.
What's the story? What
But
have I
it'd
missed?
be it'd be
Hang
like
on, it would
it'd
just
be like
throw too much out.
McDonald's building a store, but not actually opening that store until they had a futuristic design that looked 20 years ahead. You know,
Yeah,
uh, but they don't. You see, like what McDonald's has changed the look of their stores like 50 million times already.
yeah,
Over God knows how many years, because that's just how it works. Like things change, things get updated.
yeah,
Like there isn't a single business. I mean, there are some businesses that literally don't change, but I mean they're stuck on tradition and it just happens to work for them. But
yeah,
you're going to have stuff that gets updated and change over time. So these platforms need to accept that. Be like, well, things are going to fail, things are going to succeed, and we need to constantly work on this to make it better. You know, and
yeah,
with that in mind, you'll realize it doesn't matter when we launch it, as long as we're consistent in bringing updates.
exactly right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't stall and do nothing for 6, 7, 8 months
we,
and keep
you,
people interested.
you can't say you're going to launch a platform in a certain state but not give a date for when you're going to do it. uh that's that is skepticism. I mean
I mean,
share players done
business
it.
101 is, but business 101 is you know when you're going to open your doors.
You would have a
You have
deadline.
a target set. You'd want to have a target in mind and be like, okay, so June 30 is when we want to open. Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah,
Or
you
August
you
22nd is where we're looking at because
yeah,
that's a year on from when we got together and we started building. this platform. This is what
Yeah,
we want to do. We want to try and keep everything in that system.
yeah,
That works. It's
yeah,
called a roadmap. It's called a deadline for a reason.
yeah,
If you don't have a deadline, that deadline keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and before you know it, what should have launched a year ago is now 3 years beyond its time
yeah.
because no one has enforced a
And
deadline.
and I think like for share play especially, they should have had a deadline. They should have been like, right, we are launching this day, you know, and getting closer to that day. If there are certain features that are still in the pipeline that aren't quite nailed down yet,
Yeah,
launch with what you've got done. And when you launch, be like, this is what we've got. This is what we're currently working on. Should be available within rough timescale. You know, that's fine. But you've committed to a launch, and I think that's what SharePlay definitely should have done. And the same goes for Glimish with beta. Should nail a date into the ground and be like, that's it. That's what we're aiming for. If
yeah.
things aren't done, things
Oh,
aren't done. We'll just work on them after that. But we've now moved into that next stage of the business.
again, that falls into that whole open and transparent thing, doesn't it? It's like over here we've got this that we're doing, but you can't see it. We're showing you nothing. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
get it. You got things you want to work on, but at what point do you say we're moving to our next phase and start putting pressure on the group pretty much to start pushing that next phase?
yeah.
Like I said, I think like share plays, there's room in the market and they need to be around, and I think they will be around.
Yeah.
But at what point do we still see the whole? I guess that fake narrative is right now. The alpha testing is great. It's promoting bad mindset in, hey, I'm going to be the top dog here. When the doors open, how many people are actually going to be there
I mean,
in
right.
that window of opportunity?
Well, you're going to have that honeymoon period. Like, there is no
Mhm.
escaping that. There is going to be a honeymoon period where
Yeah.
everything is just going absolutely hunky dory. And I hope the people behind SharePlay realize that is actually going to happen. And they're not going to look at it and be like, we're a success. Fuck yeah. Yeah, no. Like, you're a success now. In a month's time, that could change dramatically. Like, you need to be
Yeah.
realistic about that. You need to be very cautious of that honeymoon period. Glimish went through the same thing. Launched, honeymoon period, just exploded. Now, dead in the water. Uh, you know, it's a very real possibility that that could happen, and they need to be cautious of that. And
Yeah.
streamers also need to be very cautious of that. If
I need
they
to be
go
ahead of that
in,
curve.
yeah, if they go in expecting success and they don't get it, they're contributing to the problem that's going to happen.
Hmm.
Because they'll go in, they'll go, yes, I'm going to be big and famous on this very small platform. No one's coming here. I'm going back to where I came from. And they've just contributed to the downfall of that
The
platform.
downfall.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. Like I say, the testing is fantastic, and it's great to see the viewership get behind it. But again, if anyone's in question of that, go back to the Glimish stuff. Look at the Glimish channel itself when they do board meetings of 50, 60, 70 people. Go and look at all
Yeah.
the streams. One, two, at three.
Yeah. 5 at most.
Where's all that? Where's all those people? Where's all
Yeah.
that audience gone? Because they're not worried about the platform. What they want
Yeah.
to hear is what's going on. They want to hear the juicy details, and that's it. So it's all great to run alpha testing, and it's great to see them actually working on it. Is that going to translate when launch comes? That's my worry in the end of the situation there. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, that falls back onto that narrative where you're going to be successful no matter what. It's hard work. It's not easy. It
Yeah.
wasn't easy on Twitch. It wasn't easy on YouTube.
But
It's not easy on Kick.
yeah,
It's not easy anywhere.
it's never been easy. You
No, of
know,
course not.
like you have to do what makes you happy and in your own time. There is no point playing follow the leader, or otherwise you're just another lemming. You're just going to go walk straight off the cliff, and you're not even going to know that you've done it. you know,
Well, the
uh,
problem is like, and you see it even on Twitch, and you're starting to see it now on Kick. Is I was in the top of the category. Yeah, but you're playing the same game as 60, 75, 100 other people.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
hell, I was
if
playing
you're worried
Runaway
about being at the
Empire
top of the
2, and I
category,
guarantee I was at the top of the category because I reckon no one else was streaming the damn thing.
you're like, if you were looking at podcasts, we're probably top of the category. Like, again,
With
that shouldn't be a
yeah,
driving force
yeah,
because you're only focused about taking everybody else down, which means you're not going to be building a solid community. Again, it falls into that fake narrative. Just because you're at the top of the group doesn't mean you're successful.
yeah,
It just means that somebody else is not as successful as you are. And you got to remember too, remember the days when you weren't there and you were down there.
hmm
How did you feel?
yeah.
Were you
And like,
enjoying your streaming time at that stage? Probably
yeah,
not.
and like for me, I take success as returning viewers. You know,
Yep.
if I'm getting
100%.
returning viewers, I've succeeded in my own mind because whatever it is that I'm doing is making people want to come back.
Yep.
And at that stage, I've won. I've great. I've succeeded in my streaming journey. I've streamed. People have watched. People have come back.
Yep.
That's that's the
Well,
way I see it.
we spoke the other week about that 1/10 rule. If you can have
Yeah,
1/10 of your followage
yeah,
viewing, you're doing all right.
yeah.
You're at what 1/40th of your following
No,
right now.
I'm a quarter.
Yeah, you're a quarter. Yeah, you're 25% of
yeah.
your followage right now. And look, that's not to say that it won't grow or it won't drop off. But
Oh,
again,
it very
rule of
well
thumb
could.
in the
Yeah,
streaming world is 1/10 of your follow count. So if you can maintain 10 people out of 100, you're doing well. Like
yeah,
that should be success. That should be where you're saying, "Hey, I'm really doing something well here."
yeah,
Because you're maintaining that level of
yeah,
return viewership, and that's where it's going to start building.
yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
But I think that might wind up this show. But again, all expressions and opinions expressed within the show are our own and not influenced. They're not influenced by any
never,
branding or any
never
company. So
influenced.
again, please, if you see us live on our own individual, swing on by and have a chat. Again, we run this show on the bi-weekly stage, but we still often, and I know Speed does it, and I do it. We just get so lobbed into a chat that we don't even care. It's almost like a second episode. So
Yeah,
again, come and hang out. Come and chat. Again, we're not using this channel to promote our own, but if you do want to chat about these things, come and see us. Come and drop in on the next show. Come and join our Discord. Join our Gilded. Come and have a chat with us. Come and get on the show and share your opinions. Your opinions matter to us.
yeah,
And again, that's what we want to hear. We want to see you guys. We want to hear from you guys. We want to have you guys here, sitting in the room with us and chatting away. Um, that's what we do it for.
hmm
But yeah, I think we'll wind up today's episode and get on with things that are happening.
A lot of
Look,
things
yeah,
happening.
we're never against people's decisions, but we just like to bring things forward and showcase what we're we're feeling around the industry right now, and it's not pretty. There's a lot of fake narratives going on, and we just need to be aware of it. We just as a content creation group, we need to be aware of these narratives and the stuff that's going on because it's not always accurate and it's not always a clear cut picture. So just be aware of what's out there, guys. Don't fall into the traps of what everyone else is trying to portray to you. Have a look, do your research into that person or that creator, and see what you find.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, we will see you guys in a couple of weeks, maybe with a bit of a change of scenery, but we'll see what happens
Maybe.
in 2 weeks' time. Maybe.
Don't know yet. Maybe. Maybe not. But anyway.
Anyway, look after
All right.
yourselves. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye, guys.